Hello, I'm Mike. If adding new features to audio editors was an Olympic sport, who would win the gold this year? Let's find out. Okay, I don't quite know why I'm doing this, but if I was to award the bronze medal, it would go to Adobe Audition simply just for still existing. Let's take a look at the release notes updated on the 8th of May 2024 and find out what's new. Oh, it takes me to a link that's from March 2023. Well, no worries, they've fixed some issues, so let's have a look over there. In the latest 24.4, alert messages are not visible with multi-track project. What alert messages? And a whole new release on fixing alert messages. And for the prestigious 24.0 update, silence added beginning and end on MP3s, app needed to force quit, destination full or no longer available fixed, and improved scrolling. Oh yes, save my fingers. Seriously, I just feel like I got a lot of flack for the video I did earlier this year where I asked, is Adobe Audition dead? But I'm asking you again, is Adobe Audition dead? It's had no relevant updates for years now, and I'm only including it in this roundup because it's an awesome audio editor. It just simply hasn't had new features, so it gets the bronze medal. Now, without a doubt, the silver medal does go to DaVinci Resolve, or more specifically, Fairlight from Blackmagic. It is the audio mixer and editor that's integrated into their video editing software, and it's had great features that I've covered earlier in the year, such as music remix. Yes, you can grab all the stems from your musical songs and compositions. Also dialogue separator, which is fantastic at doing fine-grained noise removal. And what's more, not only does it get a load of cool AI-based audio features included, it's also a one-time price to upgrade to the studio version, unlocking some extra features for you, and you never have to pay again. There are various videos that you'll see on your screen, and I'll also link them down below so you can find out all about the new updates that got DaVinci Resolve's Fairlight the silver medal this year. But if I'm going to hand out the gold medal and put it around the neck of an audio editor, transcriptions with AI, noise removal with AI, vocal removal and music remixing with AI, even music generation locally on your computer using AI, I am talking about Audacity. And now they get the gold medal because they've just recently released version 3.6, and the compressor and limiter feature plus the master track that they've added is absolutely game-changing. I'm going to show you how it works now. Now, hang on. Before we hop into Audacity, you might say, Mike, Audition and Fairlight, they've had good compressors for ages. Why are you awarding gold for that? I actually think the compressor and limiter Audacity has added is actually now better in terms of real-time feedback and visualizations than what you'll see inside the Adobe Audition interface. So if you want to set up a compressor, watch this tutorial and I'll show you how it works. Oh, and by the way, when we do hop into Audacity, I can actually go up into Audacity preferences, and nice over here in interface, I can switch from light to dark mode. Now, you may already see there's been a slight interface update, but when I go dark, I can breathe now. If you're so used to working in Adobe apps, then this is going to be a very familiar workspace to you. So let's get started and let's just record something. I'm going to hit the record button and just get my vocals. Hello, this is Mike, and I'm recording into Audacity. As you'll see, when I talk and I get loud, then there are big spikes. And of course, then when I quieten down, there are not so many. Okay, so you can see I've got audio track 1 here, which I can add a compressor to. Keep watching to the end, by the way. If you're really into compression, I'm going to offer you a free download that will give you 3 free presets for the Audacity new compressor to make your audio sound great, no matter whether you're working on radio imaging or podcast editing. I've got 3 presets I think will work really well for you. But let me show you how to add one to this piece of audio here. Now you'll see the spikes that are occurring here and over here as well. And I can of course double click this, go into the effect menu and find compression under volume and compression, compressor right here. But I can also do it now in real time, and this is how we're going to do it in this tutorial by going to the effects button on my audio track. Now of course I can have multiple audio tracks, so I'm working on a podcast and I can add different compressors to each. So let's click effects, and now you'll see we get an effects rack. It's kind of similar to what you'll see in Adobe Audition. And I can add an effect here, and we'll just go to Audacity native effects and we'll click compressor. And now we got the compressor right there in the real-time effects rack. So I can now click this and go into the interface. Now, it may look a bit confusing at first, but it's really not that bad. First of all, we'll start to play back this audio. Hello, this is Mike, and I'm recording into Audacity. Okay, so what can we see here? We can see a little bit of yellow here saying the compressor is starting to kick in, and these spikes here indicate the amplitude or the volume of the audio we're playing back. So as you can see, compressor is not really kicking in that much. For my speech, I'm going to go in for a threshold here of -20. I'm going to type it in manually. I'm going to do no makeup gain for the moment. That's a boost of volume after you've compressed. The knee width, I'll make it hard. I like a hard knee, so I'll make that 0. And ratio is way too much, so I'm going to bring that down to 3. And that should be a good starting point. Let's now play that back again. Hello, this is Mike, and I'm recording into Audacity. As you'll see, when I talk and I get loud, then there are big spikes. So you can see this compressor is now rolling across the audio and making it sound a lot better. Now, we've also got attack and release time, and as you can see, these are not kicking in too well. Actually, let's save this out as a preset, and I'm going to save it as Mike Podcast, and this will be one of the free presets you can grab once I've dialed it in at the end of the video. So I'm actually going to get out of this. This is real time. I'm actually going to go to no effect. I'm going to remove that compressor, and I'm going to add that effect now from the effects menu, volume and compression, compressor. And of course, it tells us that we need to select all the audio first. So once I've double clicked my audio track, now I can go in and we can look here at the presets, and my user preset, Mike Podcast, can easily be recalled just like that. Now, if I apply it as is, you'll see it just turned down a little bit of audio, but the spikes here and here, they were all missed. So how can we fix that with a nice Audacity compressor? Well, let's go back in and make a few tweaks. Now, we can turn the attack and the release down. Now, I've noticed if I turn it down to 0 for both, it will do a real hard brick compression. It actually doesn't sound too good. Hello, this is Mike, and you can hear a little bit of distortion going on there as well. So I do not recommend dialing Audacity attack and release on the compressor down to 0 because you're going to get some undesirable results. So let's go back to effect, volume and compression, compressor, and then we'll put the attack at 1 millisecond and the release at 1 millisecond. And now you see we get a nice amount of compression. Hello, this is Mike, and I'm recording into Audacity. As you'll see, when I talk and now we've got stuff that's really level. Now I could actually probably get those spikes a little bit better. So we'll go back in one more time to the compressor, and I'm going to actually make the attack 0.1 milliseconds. We'll leave the release at 1 millisecond, and we'll actually make the makeup gain around 3 extra dB of boost after we compressed. And now look at that. Hello, this is Mike, and I'm recording into Audacity. As you'll see, now you can hear again the distortion is being introduced, so we can't make it that tight, the attack. Unfortunately, that seems to be a bug at the moment. I do hope that gets fixed maybe in a future update. So I'm going to make that 0.5, so we'll make that half a second. Hello, this is Mike, and I'm recording into Audacity. As you'll see, when I talk and I get loud, then there are big spikes. Okay, so you can hear that that compressor is working fairly well. Now, if I had multiple tracks here and I wanted to compress them all at once, I would add the compressor to the Master Effects channel. It's down here at the bottom, Audacity compressor. But actually, on Master Effects, I'm going to add a limiter. And here, it's very simple. It would apply to any audio track I have here. Let's actually go ahead and grab the end of that audio and paste it down here onto another audio track. We'll just align it for ease of use, delete the rest of that, and we can actually go ahead and rename this track to Mic 2. Okay, so we've got Mic 2, and over here, for sake of ease, we'll make that Mic 1. Okay, so now we've got 2 audio tracks, and anything I put here on Master Effects will apply to both tracks. So I've got a limiter here, and again, it's awaiting playback to give me some feedback on my limiter. Now for threshold, I usually like a limiter at -3 dB, and let's play this. Hello, this is Mike, and I'm recording into Audacity. As you'll see, so you can see that it is just limiting, it's cutting off those peaks just before they hit -3 dB. It's a really easy effect to set up, and this is basically how I would recommend setting this on your Audacity settings. Have the compressors on each individual track dialed into each individual track, and you'll see as I click between Mic 1 and Mic 2, it updates here over on the real-time effects. And then something like a limiter, if you want to make sure no audio goes above, for instance, -3 dB into distortion territory, just throw a limiter on Master Effects and you'll have an awesome sounding piece of audio. This visual limiter and compressor that's just been added to Audacity with Audacity 3.6 is absolutely incredible, and I think they're going on and creating amazing things in Audacity. I can't wait to see what comes next. But really, this alone and the AI updates that came earlier in the year, which of course I'll link to the video if you want to see all of those. It's on my channel from earlier this year. Incredible stuff, and it definitely wins Audacity and Team Audacity the gold medal for developing audio editors this year. Well done, Audacity. Keep on developing. There's cool stuff coming into Fairlight from Blackmagic as well. And Adobe Audition, where are you in the race? Don't get left behind. We still want great features. We know you can do it because all the features are in Premiere Pro. But how about some Adobe Audition love? Do you agree? Or have you already switched to a different editor or a different workflow? Let me know in the comments down below. And you'll also find the link down below in the description to download my 3 awesome Audacity compressor presets for you to use in this brand new feature.